Hello, everyone. I hope you have had a wonderful, wonderful week. Today, I am going to be addressing a couple of things that have been coming up this last week. And this is primarily through my clients, as well as some other friends who have been experiencing some challenges this week. And I know last week's channeled message was about not blaming collective energies. I love this. It's so great. This week, it is a little bit about blaming collective energies. So it's very much about what is going on collectively at the moment. Let's talk a little bit about ascension symptoms. This isn't something I've talked a whole lot about just yet on this podcast, and I am considering doing a whole episode on that because ascension symptoms are real, they're uncomfortable, and they can be a little scary. So as with everything, I always encourage people to go to a medical professional if you need to first. I've done it many times where I have felt symptoms of things and gone to the doctor and they've been like, you're totally fine. There's nothing wrong with you. So then at that point, I know that it is, in fact, energy related, ascension related, all of those things, all of the above. So now the question is it collective? Is it just me? Like what is actually going on? So what is going on this week and what has been going on for the last few weeks is essentially a lot of back pain, like lower back pain. Also, it has been heart racing, heart palpitations. For me, it showed up as a little bit of a pressure in my heart. But other than that, I didn't feel a whole lot of these sort of symptoms. Now, what it has been described to me as by my guides is more of a collective energy. And it's specifically targeting and affecting people whose life purpose is geared toward helping to heal the wounded feminine. So if that is you, if you are one of those people who is trying to heal the wounded feminine, or that is your life purpose, you know that's your life purpose, then it is likely that over the last 2 to 3 weeks, you have been feeling a lot of these symptoms physically in your body. And why is that? Well, the lower back pain, it has been described to me by various healers actually that I've been to in the past. And it seemed to really ring true. When I had sciatic nerve pain for a while, one of the energy healers I went to said that it was called the betrayal belt. And that was absolutely correct. There were a lot of betrayals in my life at the time. This huge feeling of victim mentality, this feeling of lack of forgiveness. And a lot of this is within the wounded feminine. Now, for me personally, that sciatic nerve pain was specifically my stuff. It didn't have to do with collective energies. So I was able to then heal that once I was able to release those feelings of betrayal, those feelings of victim mentality, those feelings of judgment and feeling like everybody was taking advantage of me in some way, right? So this has been brought to my attention based on several things. So many of you know Ann Perry. She and I were talking the other night. She lives in Nova Scotia, and they're having all kinds of floods and horrible things, catastrophes happening within that space. And I had a client today who was also in Nova Scotia talking about the same thing. And one of the things that came up, obviously, water always represents emotion. So not only are we as a collective trying to heal the wounded feminine, but then also Earth herself is trying to heal the wounded feminine. So all of the floods, anything having to do with water, any flooding, any, torrential rains, tsunamis, anything like that is always about the earth healing emotions, grief, pain, any of that might be going on in particular areas. Now, I'm going to ask the guides a few messages about this because I did get some messages during my session and then also while talking to a couple of other friends while all of these things were going on. But I do have some questions regarding how the earth heals, how that happens, and why does it come out as these sort of extreme weather events. And then also, likewise, I'm going to find out why we are feeling these symptoms in our physical bodies at this time as a collective. This is something that you haven't asked about often, which is something that is incredibly important. And it is something that you will cover in subsequent episodes regarding the energy of the earth and all of the places where you have sacred places, where you have places like you had experienced in Strasbourg that has a lot of energetic portals that are what you would consider to be negative. Exploring the energy of the earth and what she's going through is of paramount importance. And if you forget about it, it's to almost forget about an arm or a leg or another limb that you have that's important in your function. Because we are all so connected to the earth, it is vital that we pay attention to her and what she's saying and what's happening. At this particular time, what Earth is saying as a whole is that she is going through the process of grief. She is grieving what once was. She is grieving how she used to be. She has not yet come into who she will become. The process of ascension is the same for all of us, Earth included. So Earth is still going to go through the grieving process. Earth is still going to go through that process of not quite being what she is going to become yet. There are things that will happen on her surface that will need to boil out the energies that no longer serve her, that will erupt out of her, getting rid of the anger that she holds, that will then crush the energies of feeling disempowered. There are so many different things that can happen during this time, and it is about that eruption of where the energy is coming out. So if you consider your body, where you have eruptions in your body, consider it to be inflammation, consider it to be lesions or acne or something on your skin that is showing that you are releasing energy. All of these things come out in the places where they need to come out. You can, in fact, release them and release them gracefully, but there needs to be consciousness there. There needs to be a conscious awareness that the energy needs to be released. Now, you might ask, why doesn't the earth know and have the consciousness to be able to release the energy with grace? The answer is she does, and she has been trying to. But our energies that rest upon her sometimes block her from being able to release those energies. So if you want to be supportive of Gaia to release the energies she needs to release, we encourage all of the grid workers out there to create as many sacred places as you can, crystal grids, portals that you create that are positive to be able to release these energies and be transmuted. All of you transmuters out there, if you can set the intention to transmute the energy from the earth wherever you step foot and allow the energy to move through you, thereby not affecting your energy field, but allow the earth energy to be transmuted through you. This will allow the earth energy to be gracefully transmuted and expended versus coming out in these great eruptions. One of the things that Annette has in her head right now in this moment is the question about climate change and how that is affecting Mother Earth. It is a symbiotic agreement, which is the less you treat Mother Earth with respect, the more angry she gets, simply because it is not a supportive place for her to be able to transmute and expel these energies, these lower or negative energies. The more negative energies that are placed upon her and the less opportunity she has to transmute them and release them, the more they will build up and build up to more eruptions, to more explosions, to more floods, to more all of those things. And these can be quantified scientifically. This is something that not a lot of people connect to the idea of climate change and why it changes. Does it have to do with us as humans living upon her? Yes, of course it does. It is a much more energetic connection than anybody even realizes. We are a part of her and she's a part of us. She is a direct reflection of us. She is a direct reflection of what is going on within us. And so if she's angry, we're angry. If she's healing, we're healing. And vice versa. So in these times of changing the energies, sometimes it can be painful. Sometimes it can have negative consequences in the short term. But in the long term, it is about the healing. And that is the case for all journeys that people go on when they are on their spiritual journey. In order for the new energy to come in, the old needs to leave. There needs to be space created for the new energies. And that is what Gaia is doing at this time. That is what Gaia has been doing for quite some time. So when it comes to your physical symptoms that you are having right now, these ascension symptoms, they are being compounded not only by what Gaia is going through, but also what you are going through personally. They may show up in different ways. As Annette has seen with various clients and with friends, it may come up as back pain, heartache, heart racing, panic. It may also come up as throat blockage. It might come up as sore throats. It might also come up as stomach pain, unsettled stomach. Think of a stomach that is erupting like a volcano. That is the type of energy that can be had during this time. What are you to do about it? The first thing we would suggest is taking very good care of your body. If you need rest, you need to rest. Do not push your body any further. If you need to be in a different place, we encourage you to travel. It is something that we did mention to Annette's client during the session, that if you are in a place such as Nova Scotia where there is a lot of unrest in terms of the energies and Gaia is getting out that energy, and you are not a transmuter or a grid worker, we would suggest that you leave the area temporarily until things have calmed down. We would suggest roughly 2 weeks. If you are a grid worker or a transmuter, we would encourage you to do as much work as you possibly can to create a channel, to create a vessel, a container, to be able to allow the earth energy to move through and be transmuted into light. This will help ease the process. This will help speed up the process. that needs to happen. This advice will be the same for any place on earth that is having rumblings, that is having any sort of challenge in terms of what you would call a natural disaster. It is not often that we will send a message that will be about your physical bodies, your physical symptoms being attached to Mother Earth. But this is the first of many. It will continue to be the case as we enter the age of the divine feminine. The divine feminine needs to be in her power. The wounded feminine needs to heal. And in order for this to happen, there will be times where we will be so connected to Earth, we will be so in tune to her nature that whatever is happening to her is happening to us. And so we would encourage you to take care of your bodies as you would take care of a newborn baby. Take care of the earth as you would take care of that same child. Allow her to speak to you. Allow Gaia to speak to you. This process will take many hundreds, if not thousands of years to heal, ascend, and move into the new place where Gaia will be seated for another couple of thousands of years. And when that happens, she will be in her full nurturing. She will be in her full expression of what it means to be divine feminine and what it means to be divine masculine. Those energies will be balanced fully, and she will thrive, and we will thrive upon her. We will work symbiotically with her, in harmony, in direct harmony with Gaia. This may sound big and grandiose as we are speaking of concepts that you humans at this time may not even be around for in 1,000 years or 2,000 years. But we want you to understand the grand scheme of what is happening right now in this moment and why. We want you to understand how to move through it and how to move through it gracefully, how to move through it and not resist it. The more resistance, the harder it's going to be. So allow the grief to come. Allow the pain, allow the anger, and allow it to be released and transmuted. Allow it to be integrated within yourselves, within your relationships, within your connection to Gaia. Okay. Is there anything else? Yes. Okay. What else would you like to say? We would simply like to say that not all is lost. When people get a micro vision about the earth and where she's going, they see nothing but doom. And we assure you that is not the case. It may be difficult for a while, but as you ascend, as does Gaia, and vice versa. So the more people who are on their path, the more light workers that are on their path, the more grid workers that are doing their work, the more transmuters that are doing their work, the better. And in fact, things are only going to get better from here. If you look at it from an outside perspective, it looks like a mess. And that is absolutely correct. Because a journey such as this one is messy. Things have to be cleared before new energy can come in. We've said this many, many times. And what you are looking at is the mess of the things that need to be cleared on all levels, on a grand scale, in all countries, in all cultures, in all peoples. Everyone as one is going through this. Know this, understand this, and keep this in mind as to not judge others, as to not feel separate than. Understand that you are all in this together. And you can go kicking and screaming, or you can go with grace. It is your choice. We love you. We are here to support you. We know it's hard to be on this earth sometimes. Gaia thinks it's hard for you to be with her as well sometimes, but know that this is a beautiful symbiotic relationship and you will figure it out. You will learn how to create this energy together, this co-creating energy. It will happen. What you consider to be a utopia of having a beautiful connection with Earth and not abusing her, and vice versa. It will happen. It will be achieved. It'll be a while, though. In the meantime, do what you can to make this world a better place, as you already are. Okay, wow. That was a pretty big message. I kind of have to process that. I don't really know what to do with that right now. So I'm not going to make any comment about this just yet because I feel like the message just needs to sit for a minute. And maybe I might make some comments about it next week in the channeled message. But I just want you to sit with this. Let me know what resonates. Put in the comments if this is something that you're going through or that you're feeling. And yeah, I'll keep you posted on if I get any other messages about this in the coming days or the coming weeks. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful week. And I will be back with you next Friday.